Okay.
I'm starting the streaming.
How do I fix the loop? Because we hear ourselves talking.
Yeah, I'm turning the volume down over here.
Please tune your marks because there is echo.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
But then
You can. Where is your audio?
Yeah, but then we can't hear them.
Well, I can.
We need to hear them from Hank's phone.
from Hank's phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just
So this needs to go louder.
and put the sound on. Okay.
So I put my sound off.
Yeah.
Can we hear them here?
Testing.
Testing.
Speak something.
Do you
No,
hear
we
us?
can't hear. We can't hear them.
Yeah, but we can't hear them.
No,
Can you say something,
say something.
so that we check that we hear you? Agatha or
No, we
Amber?
have lost connection.
Can you
Oh.
hear
I'm here. Do you hear us?
I'm calling for Hawaii? Do you
But you
hear?
have yours. Okay. So at least-
No, 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 no. It's not loud enough.
No, but
Can you hear
Where?
Amsterdam?
On the left, over, yes.
Yeah.
All tech lancing.
Testing. Speak.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, we're live.
so we are live.
Loud
So
enough?
okay. Yeah. So aloha. We are here starting the first intercontinental transmission where we have several continents involved. We have the moon. We have the Pacific, that's also in connection with many continents. And we have Europe that are part of this international moon-based connection between analog simulation facilities that are simultaneously in operation. So I am Bernard Huang. I am here at the International Moon-Based Alliance ICES Habitat that is run and where we have brought a number of crew from Europe, but we have our host here, Hank Rogers, that is going. We are going to go a roundtable, and we are going each of you for 1 minute to explain what we are doing here. Hank.
Yes, so we are here to simulate a future moon base. The International Moon Base Alliance is an organization that is working to build, first of all, analogs and prototypes on Earth, but eventually we plan to build a moon base on the moon. So we are here at High Seas. We're learning all about what are the important things, the ingredients of a great moon base. And so we are, all of our scientists, we are studying not only what to do, how to build a moon base, but also how to do EVAs and all these kind of things that are very necessary for practicing living on the moon.
Good. So that's an important crew. Also, with this experience, we have given the task of commander of this crew to Hank Rogers, but we have also with us a mission director for ICES, Kato Claes, which has joined from Europe and that will stay here to run the operation of future mission. Kato?
So my name is Kato. I'm the executive officer of this crew, and I will be running High Seas for the next month. And so, yeah, we execute several EVAs. And for me, it's very important to get familiar with all the different systems and all the different things that are executed here.
So clearly, to run such a habitat requires quite some engineering, some technology. Luckily, we have on our crew, the crew chief engineer, Andrew Cox, that has run and that prepared a lot of the instrumentation. So Andrew, can you describe where we are with your roles, what engineer can do here?
Yeah, we manage the power systems, communications, the EVA suits and communication systems in the helmets. We oversee science missions, the crew laboratory and the equipment in the laboratory, and as well the environmental systems in the habitat.
Excellent. So we have also coming from Europe. I will finish with Serena because she will have to take over from moderating this discussion as she has organized it. We have also with us space psychologist, Celia Avila Rauch.
Hello, everyone from the High Seas. Yeah, I'm the space psychologist. I try to observe what is would be the best tools to better performance and space or space analogs or analog missions. This is my work now. Thank you.
Excellent. Now we have also on board a key person that is keeping us alive. This is our chef, our food officer, you could say. At the same time, he is serving as our time manager, our steno manager. He's keeping us on time. He's documenting, how much time we spend for the different tasks. That is Brent Raymond.
Yes, so hi, I'm Brent. Normally, I am responsible for organizing the EMMPOL missions, but now I'm here in Hawaii as well. So I'm cooking for the crew. I am keeping track of the schedules and the EVA debriefings. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent. So now I'm just in my role as support scientist here. So I'm trying to get some science done out of the different tasks that we have. We have a set of hierarchy, safety first, and we are trying all to enforce it. We try to have a realistic simulation so that what we do can be used for future mission to the Moon and Mars. Then we do research so that we are intervene, and we try to do research of the Moon, so that's geology. We tried also to do science on the Moon, so life science that we could conduct inside the habitat. Of the Moon, eventually we could have telescopes. So my role is also to look at opportunities, scientific research projects that we could do, also proposed by external community. Now, last but not least, we have with us our space architect, but also our MoonMars communicator, PR officer, Serena, that has organized this event, but that is going to take over from me now to moderate this panel.
Okay, so hello everybody, it's great to be here. So my role in the mission is being the outreach and communication officer. So what I'm doing is basically trying to document all the activities that we do, both during the EVAs, but also in the IVAs, so in the intravehicular activities. So we are trying to collect several materials that we will use for contents in the future to communicate about the importance of this mission. So yes, this is pretty much my role. So I will just share with you a bit the idea of today's event, because we had this chance of having two ongoing analog missions at the same time. One is our EMMIHS 2023 Hana Hou mission, and the second one is the EMMPOL15 crew that has joined our live. So we wanted to have this kind of interactive session to exchange a bit how life on the Moon is. And also after this, in our Zoom call, we have several speakers and friends that will take over and will be able to ask questions to us and to the EMMPOL crews. So yeah, I think now it's we could either have our tour base or give floor to the EMMPOL15 crew.
No, we start with the tour. You start with the tour.
We start with the high-speed base tour.
Yes, so we are going to follow Hank that is going to show the facilities, and we'll give some comments.
Since we're having this meeting in our dining room, this is our dining room. So we can see everybody standing around here, and dining room, and this is the kitchen. It's a very Spartan kitchen, but it's very, how can I say, it works. So I'm going to walk you through the kitchen. And then from the kitchen viewpoint, we're looking at our main area, which has lots of space, and it's where everybody comes for their personal time with computers. The space itself, this space itself is very high. It's got an atrium so that it gives you the feeling of space, and it doesn't feel so cramped. Walk back here. I'm going to take you upstairs to the crew quarters. The crew quarters, and so upstairs there are 6 small rooms. Each one of us has our own room. This is, sorry for the mess, this is my room. Small bunk to sleep, a little desk, place to hang your clothes. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 crew quarters. And then there's our upstairs bathroom. the upstairs bathroom. It has hot and cold water, and this is our composting toilet. So we don't use any water in the toilet. After we go, we put more biological instruments. Let's go downstairs. So downstairs, we have another bathroom. And this has got this one has a urinal and a shower. This is the shower. Everybody uses one shower.
Sometimes we're limited to 1 liter shower, and some even go to a quarter liter of cold water when they come back from EVA.
And this is our little laboratory. It's a wet lab. So we have water and we have all kinds of materials for doing medical experiments. It looks like somebody did growing some plants, but that's been quite a while ago. Let's see. And in case of emergency, when somebody goes out on an EVA, we haven't had to use it yet, luckily. So right now, we have an airlock. Green means that we can go in. If it's red, then it's basically outside. So we're going into the engine room. And this is where we have, these are our helmets, what we use to go on an EVA. And they are the air conditioning units, backpacks. They are a life support. Helmet has, it has the head-up display, so we can give them information real time. It has a camera on the front, and this is air supply, and supplies is inside the pack. So we hang them here. They're all recharging now, charging the backpacks. This one is on. You can turn it on and off. So the air is coming out. It's an air condition. Whoa, there we go. Can we lower the visor? Yeah, that's it. Sorry, we can't go outside because going outside means that we have to spend 6 or 7 minutes in the airlock. This is our workbench. This is our power system. And here are the batteries. The batteries are now at 60% state of charge, 36, 60, and 35% state of charge. By 10 or 11 o'clock, we will have full power. If you have something else you want to show, you do it. Which is the comms room?
Andrew, can you guide us? Andrew, can you guide us to the front room? Yes.
The comms room. Let's make this quick. We are running out of time.
So this is a lot to see, but you will have to come to see more. And also we have a special program where we can have researchers joining in.
So this is Andrew's room.
We have our communications and systems automation networks in here, and as well a site-wide mission control computer.
So the dome itself is 100 square meters of floor space, and we can see the control. We can find out exactly what's the oxygen level and the carbon dioxide level, and we can find out all the power systems for the HAT. This is all being recorded, so we can go back and find out if anything is going wrong. There you go. So
and now we are going to end the tour with a tease on what we have outside through our
I have one more
window.
thing. I have one more thing that I want to show. So our engineering team has created. There's a very deep pipe nearby, and our engineering team created a device that will go to the bottom of the pipe. And we did this yesterday, the first time, and it's now being used as lighting. So the light lights up the tunnel as the descender descends. And the last thing we're going to show is out the window. This is our only window. This is how we find out what the weather is like today. And today is wonderful weather for an EVA. That's Mauna Kea in the distance with snow. And you can see there is nothing but lava between us and the rest of the universe. So we are not seeing any other people anywhere. Everyone, that's it. I think we're good.
Okay, so that was the end of our tour. We go back to our position.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so I think this is it from our high seas base. We can now leave the floor to the EMMPOL15 crew. Hi guys, can you hear us?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Thanks for having us. My name is Daniel. This is Sean, Ava, Nicholas, and Wojtek. And we make up EMMPOL15. So we are a combined expedition project between MoonMars and the Analog Astronaut Training Center in Poland. So what are the main purposes of this habitat? Well, we study crew dynamics and social interaction in isolation here. And also we study each individual's subjective time perception test here. Just some brief introductions before we take you on a tour. My name is Daniel Siana from Ireland, and I study medical physics with bioengineering in TU Dublin. My personal experiments involve studying cardiac behavior in different gravity vectors and studying the effects of isolation on blood cells while we stay in isolation. Sean?
Hi there, my name's Sean. Like Daniel, I'm from Ireland studying physics and medical physics in TU Dublin. I'm the crew medical officer and vice commander, and my experiment is to investigate if sound and vibration can affect plant growth for future growth for long-haul space flights.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ava Hutchison. I'm from the States. My background is in political science and law, but here in EMMPOL15, I'm researching crew dynamics and decision-making patterns. My role here is communications officer, so I report to Daniel as commander, as well as MCC, make sure that everyone is updated with all of our technical information that Agata will discuss in just a bit.
Hello, everyone. My name is Wojciech Kuziewicz. I come from Poland. I work on AGH University of Science and Technology in Space Technology Center. And here on our mission, I'm conducting experiment about filtrating urine and wastewater with regolith simulants, Mars simulants, and Moon simulants to see if we can pre-process the wastewater for further recovery of it.
My name is Nicholas Barker. I'm a Dutch electrical engineering student. And my experiment here is studying eyes, specifically blink rate and eye redness. And as mentioned, we study dynamics and behavior. And so it's very useful to have metrics like this. We're actually wearing sensors all over us.
So now for the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can take you on a tour now of the habitat. All right. Well, in here, this is our living quarters where we each get a bunk and place to live. Here's the schedule.
So now Nick is going to discuss a bit about his experiments here in the habitat.
As mechanical engineer on this team, my job is to fix things when they break eventually, as well as develop a few of my projects of my own. This one, as you can see, is taking pictures of my eye currently and counting how many times I blink, as well as the redness of my sclera and how my iris is looking throughout the day. Let's see, another interesting one is we're taking high resolution images of the iris and eyes again each morning and evening to see how our eyes change throughout, being in such a confined space for an extended period of time.
So now we're taking you out of the bedroom and moving into the kitchen and clean lab area. So here is where we have a lot of our information on the habitat and its status. our CO2 levels, temperature, time, things like that, that make living in the habitat much easier. I believe you can see just behind, this is a small museum for the many other expeditions that have been hosted by the Analog Astronaut Training Center here in Poland, many of which being EMMPOL missions, some of which the patches you can see here. We are the 15th EMMPOL mission, and it's a partnership that just continues to be very, very fruitful. Over here, you can see this is our clean lab. Now, Sean, as medical officer, is going to discuss some of our tools and instruments.
Yeah, so as medical officer, I operate a lot of the equipment here. We have blood pressure, glucose testing, temperature, heart rate, and just a few more things like that, like bioimpedance. And this is our clean lab here. We run some experiments here, and we have an autoclave here for agar production. And yeah, this is just mostly where I operate. I store all my medical tools here, and this is mostly my workspace.
So now we are taking you out of the clean lab and into the dirty lab.
Right, so here is our 3D printer, with which mostly is Nick, and he's like mostly doing projects for it. Here is our urine test kit. Here is mine, let's say, filter for regular filter for urine and wastewaters. Here you can see like today's experiment. As you can see, there are like, you can clearly see that the filter is making some change with the water we're filtering.
This is the microscope that we use. We actually have two here, but this one is out of order for now. So we use this one to test blood samples on all the tools here, of course, that we have at our disposal.
Additionally, there's research that goes on here with kombucha and its properties for healing skin and internal blood effects. So now we're traveling into a deeper part of the habitat. Here we can find a hydroponic system that's currently housing another one of our experiments.
So yeah, as Ava said, this is our hydroponics, and here are some of the plants I am growing. We just have a few samples for now, and we have other plants growing in a different part of the habitat that are being subjected to, just for now, classical music. And in the future, I want to test with varying frequencies to get more precise results. And we can grow different things here, but we've just cleaned out the hydroponics for future missions.
And here is our gym. There's a lot of research that goes on in our habitat, as Daniel mentioned, with subjective time perception. This and heart rate, cardiac activity, these are the sort of data points that we collect daily and very, very frequently. We also have a bathroom. Unfortunately, we do not have showers. We are stuck with baby wipes for now, but hopefully in the future, maybe that might be available. This is our emergency shelter that we go into when there are simulated emergencies for coronal ejections, solar flares, any sort of breach in the HAB, various losses of communication, that sort of thing. Now we're going to bring you back into our kitchen and dirty lab so that we can discuss a bit more and hand the floor back to Serena back at High Seas.
Okay, thank you so much for this super interesting tour. I see we have Agatha with us. She's the director of the Analog Astronaut Training Center. So I think this is a good moment to leave floor to her. Hi, Agatha.
Hi, Serena. Hi, Sas. Hi, Sis. Hi, EMMPOL15. So nice to see you like this. What you can see back in my screen is actually the situation, what happens in the habitat. You can see there are very interesting cycles. Nights are always like these lower areas, and of course days are upper. These regions, they show the levels of carbon dioxide. Today it was kind of heavy levels. We had over 5,000. Our sensors were oversaturated. What was very interesting, but our crew managed to handle everything, and you see everything is going down. This is actual status of the mission a few minutes before. Also, I wanted to say that in our habitat, we have real emergency. The crew is running out of technical water. We have some issue, but crew is again fantastically behaving. So I think that they will survive until the end day of the mission. This is additional stress for them, but I think that with this crew is building better crew dynamics. They are really working hard together, not to drink too much water, not to use too much water for other issues. So thank you, crew. You are doing really great. Of course, in case of real problems, we can handle some lunar lander to come to their base, but I think that they will manage. I wanted also to say that this crew is working very hard. It is very sleep deprived. We are day 5 now. Still, there was no emergency simulation because, as I told you, the crew has issues already, the real one. So we try to save them, to protect them as much as possible, that they can finalize their very interesting studies.
Thank you, Agatha. Okay, so I see in our Zoom call we have with us Professor Roxana Perrier from IPSA, and she was also one of the EMMPOL astronauts in the previous missions, and she's also sending a lot of her students to this kind of program. So, Roxana, would you like to take over?
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello to the moon.
Aloha.
So, very happy to see you. Yes, I'm Roxana Perrier. I'm the commander of the first EMMPOL mission that took place in the Analog Astronaut Training Center in October 2020, and also the coordinator of the IPSA students that participate to the analog missions in Poland for the last 3 years. So I counted today, I sent 17 students already and 4 to go for the next EMMPOL missions in May 2023. They are all very keen and they are very happy to see you tonight, and of course keen to participate to the next missions, to get involved in all the experiments that they will be able to realize inside the analog center. So what you're hearing, the beeps are the questions that are coming to me via Teams, because a couple of them cannot connect. They can't write on YouTube directly. So I have already a couple of questions for the astronauts. Mainly, they were very intrigued by Nick's outfit, the device that he wears on his head. He said quickly what that's for, but let me tell you, Nick, you intrigued a lot of people here in France, so they would like to know more about your experiment.
Yeah, so it's a personal experiment of mine, and it's just to, as I said, track some more biometrics. We're already wearing proximity sensors, so we can see where we are in the HAB. We have bands that measure our heart rate and blood pressure, etc. We also have straps around our chest that measure ECGs, and with all these biometrics combined, we'll have a pretty good idea of our current state. You know, of course, we have to type it down, but that's a little subjective. We have a much more objective metric of, for example, blink rate, which, you know, increases or decreases rather if you're focused, or increases if you're flustered. The same goes for eye redness. If you're stressed, you have much redder eyes. So yeah, I thought this would be an interesting way of a first prototype rather. Hopefully they won't be quite as intrusive in the future. Yeah, that's my experiment.
Good. So are there other questions? Or?
Yeah, I do have other questions for both bases, actually. They would like to know what's a typical day on a lunar base.
Okay, so we can start with the HI-SEAS base. I think we have a person who is keeping track of all our schedule every day, and that the person is Brent, our timekeeper and time officer. So I think, Brent, would you like to explain a bit the schedule that we were facing in the previous days during this mission?
Yes, so we usually wake up, we have breakfast, and so we plan our day the day before. So this mission is mainly focused on doing EVAs. So we try to do 2 EVAs per day. So after breakfast, we start preparing for the EVA. We go out, and depending on how long that one takes, the first one, we do a second one or not. So when we get back, we have lunch. We either prepare for a second EVA and go on the second EVA, or we focus on our personal experiments. Then in the evening, we of course have dinner prepared by me or one of our international crew. And then in the evening, we also focus on our own personal experiments again. And yeah, then we go to sleep. So a lot of focus on walking around on the moon.
Now, of course, for the moon, here we have an Earth Day beat. On the moon, for the first mission, we will stay typically 1 week on the surface of the moon. Will be on the arriving during daytime. But then we will have to see how we cope with external conditions, which are daytime, and having also some space for sleeping and for the activities. And in the future, we will have people that will stay on places close to the south pole of the moon, which are in perpetual sunlight. So I think they will want to sleep as well. And also after, maybe they will go spending some part of the night, which is 2 weeks on the moon. So we'll have also to prepare for these very different cycles of work, sleep, and other activities.
Great. So any other questions, Roxana, from your students?
EMMPOL, I think EMMPOL wanted to answer too.
Yeah, sorry if that's okay. We were just going to share, we've got a bit of a different day, somewhat similar, but yeah, definitely maybe a bit less sleep. So our day begins bright and early at mission time 00. We do many tests in the morning, a lot about our sleep behavior, followed by many cognitive tests and time perception. We have a morning briefing and a night briefing. And throughout the day, every 2 hours, we have a circadian rhythm test evaluation that each of the crew members do. So there are some experiments that we participate in as a crew, and some that are individual experiments rather, like Nick's fantastic glasses that he's wearing right now. So those are conducted, some on our own schedule that we organize, that we prepare before we land on the moon, and some are organized beforehand as a crew as a whole. We have meals together. We do have some time to get to know each other better as a crew. But yes, as the mission goes on, it gets more intense. If we do have emergencies, our time gets devoted to that. It's very dynamic and evolving. We are in constant contact with MCC for ongoing updates, for example, about our CO2 levels that rose very high today. So very dynamic schedule, lots of work to do, but it is very fun and very engaging. And honestly, the time really flies by. So that's sort of what the day looks like for us. But if anyone has any specific questions, please do pose them and we can answer.
We actually have one question in the chat by Mary. She's asking, how many hours of sleep do you get?
Ooh. Do you want an honest answer or the answer that will attract more applicants?
Honest answer.
I average about 6 hours, and let's see.
So the average is
around
6 hours.
6, yeah.
Well, 6 to 7 is the most. Usually it's like 4 to 6.
Yeah, it can be 4 to 6, but I mean, we barely feel it. It's so exciting to be in here, and there's constantly stuff going on, and we don't have any windows, so we honestly can't really tell. So about 6 is the average.
Okay, can I add something to this? As MCC, we administered to our crew a Wim Hof method of breathing, and we put it at the in the evening, the very last task. So we observed that especially Eva, she's reacting completely different than we expected. So she has a big flux of endorphins and she cannot sleep after Wim Hof method. So this was supposed to calm down, to meditate, you know, to really to fall asleep. But unfortunately, in case of Eva, it is opposite phenomenon and we don't know what to do, how to process this data. So it is very exciting for us too.
Are you, I have a question. Are you adjusting the circadian rhythm depending on the rhythms of the crew? Are you like averaging out everybody what time they think it is and then adjust the start day of the next day? And if so, what is the end result of that? I mean, what's an actual no looking out the window circadian day look like time-wise?
Well, every 2 hours we do this circadian rhythm examination. This is testing our body weight, our respiratory rate, our mood at that moment, and our blood temperature. And we do this every 2 hours. So it's a way of regulating how we're feeling, if we're getting sleepy or more tired towards the end of the day. And that's how we kind of operate in a 24-hour cycle.
In addition, our commander selects a time from which we have an 8-hour period at which mission time 00 begins. So there's a decision made at this in T-minus 8 hours begins mission day 5, hour 00. So that is how our time sort of evolves. And we do have no idea what time it is in the outside world.
Do you have any idea how long your day is now?
We are currently on hour 11:06.
So we've been awake for 11 hours. That's all we know.
You don't know how long your day is. That's my question. You don't know.
Yes. So after 16 hours of being awake, that's when we start to get ready for sleeping.
Now here we have a longer time for sleep, but de facto we don't sleep that much as well. We release also a lot of endorphin because of the excitation. Some of the work, some of the questionnaire report that we try to work on every day. And also we wake up in the middle of the night because on the moon, yes, we are jet lagged.
What do you mean we?
I know a number of our crew members. When I go in the middle of the night here, I meet them around the kitchen.
But actually, we also have some breathing exercise in the evening to try to relax and like just calm down a bit. And maybe Celia, you would like to explain a bit about this psychological training we are following.
We try to breathe the basic emotion, but we started with anger. And I think everyone is improving very well, but then we stop with laughing. And I think it's the way is not about breathing, it's about when you need the proper emotion, you need to breathe it and you need to go into this emotion to work and to perform. And this is the work about.
Should we breathe now?
So far we experienced the anger, right?
Yes.
And the laugh.
Yes.
And what are we gonna do tonight?
The fear and the sadness.
The fear and the breathing fear and sadness. Okay, so any other questions?
I do have one question if anyone else doesn't. Another from my students. They see that there's a lot of diversity of culture and age. What's the most challenging for you when you are as a part of a crew that's so diverse for both of the crews? The question is for both crews.
It's a great opportunity. There are some big discussion about food, about culture of food. I could listen here in the kitchen, but otherwise we have really a very similar approach of trying to explore, trying to learn and so on. But in food, we have a heavy background, but hopefully on the moon, we come with a lot of diversity in this area.
But that's also the interesting part because we are trying food from all over our countries. Yesterday we had tortilla de patata by Celia, then we had Italian pasta. So yeah, I think it's nice.
But I think for me it's also not the diversity of a culture, but also the age. Everyone is preparing as everyone try to be curious about the other one, and we are listening, new experience, new ideas. I think it's wonderful because everybody's open to know from each other, and I think I like it.
Yeah, I think I'd like to do an experiment going forward, because we didn't do it this time. But what kind of music do we play? Especially we have such a large variety of people, and maybe measure everybody's reaction to music. What makes them more productive, or what annoys them, or something. And you know, even the absence of music, I think, is going to mean something. Can we find a music that everybody operates at an optimum? So we didn't bring actually any good speakers this time.
But we do some singing together.
We have an actual musician with us. This is our music officer, and he does wonderful chansons. And
fly me to the moon.
Where's the guitar? Go on ahead. Go on.
Okay,
go to the next.
The EMMPOL crew can answer, and we take the guitar here.
And then we should also introduce our Agora colleagues. Yeah, clearly, this is life on a moon base. We rely also a lot on mission support in EMMPOL, as you have seen. We are going also to implement that in ICs, in our moon base, but also we are very interested to get the community from the whole world, the science community, proposing experiments that we could run, and for this we have also with us the Agora Mission Control Center from Spain, and which is supporting a number of space missions professionally. So how could you help us to run some science from our moon base? Juan Carlos and Agora team.
Carlos, Agora team.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. It's just a question of thanking for the opportunity of connecting to this really amazing set of teams and the first intercontinental connection between analog moon bases. So for us, it's an opportunity just to check our facilities and to see that we can connect to both sides, monitor, and in the future maybe to receive some data and to help in processing the data from several tests. So for us, it's a really interesting thing. And I see that you are getting the guitar now, so better than receiving telemetry. We are expecting to receive music. So please proceed.
And but Anna, so also you could share your experience as well, because as well Juan Carlos and Anna are part of our new consortium. It's called Eurospace Hub. It's a consortium between 3 universities and 2 institutions, including LUNEX, MoonMars, and we try to develop a cursus to train space researchers, astronauts, and entrepreneurs. And so we have also a program, Eurospace Hub Academy, where we give training and also financial support, as all of our crew astronauts traveling have received support from LUNEX, from MoonMars, from Eurospace Hub Academy, from the International Moon Base Alliance, support to help them also to get some academic credit out of non-academic activities that we are doing here. So maybe Anna, you could also describe, if we want to develop some small satellites and so on, what can a young professional do?
Okay, so well, I will be short, because if not, we can be speaking for too much time, and I don't want that. But we are doing CubeSats and big satellites. But I will talk about the CubeSats because we want to have a CubeSat orbiting the moon, and orbiting the moon in polar orbit, and reaching the future lunar base. So we would like to be able to interact with the lunar base on the moon from our CubeSat. And we're wondering whether we could do some exercise like that to involve our undergrad and graduate students at the university. Okay, so to set the context, we are the Space Astronomy Group of a university which is the largest in Spain. We have like 80,000 undergrads, which is quite a bit. okay? And about 15,000 undergrads just in science. If we include the medicine, there is a lot of interest. One thing I wanted to ask you, in fact, is you are recording a lot of things from you, but are you recording brain waves? Have you ever recorded brain waves? And how the rhythms of the brain waves change during your stay in these analogs? And so these kind of things would be very, very interesting for our students, and for the program will be open to all the planet, in fact. But that's something that we would very much like to do with you, if you agree.
I think very good point. So we are not only doing exploration, science, technology, but we try to involve humanities, many disciplines, including medical. And you were talking about how brain works and so on. We have done some experiment in previous campaign with electroencephalogram, EEG, where you could monitor some activities in the brain. In particular, we are looking at the link between those activities and stress factors that we could also measure with other techniques like blood, saliva, or urine. I think that Agatha also is a neuroscientist, so she's doing even a much more comprehensive set of studies looking at stress and brain factors in extreme conditions. Agatha?
Yes, coming to EMMPOL15, they beat a new record of staying in the ice-cold lake, 11 minutes. So it was very, very brave. And as you can see, everyone looks healthy and is moving all parts of the body. I will not say what is in the tables, guys, don't worry. But yes, they really are great. And in fact, we are testing their cognitive properties. It is not only about seeing their actual state, but the progress during isolation. This is what we are really looking for. What is the beginning state and the state after 7 days of sleep deprivation? And this is a wonderful study. We have several parameters, as Bernard, you mentioned. So we have electrocardiograms, we have activity levels, we have step counts, we have all types of data that they can be combined and correlated with each other, which is, I think, very intriguing. And Daniel will work on that after the mission.
I was wondering when they get synchronized.
What do you mean synchronized?
When their rhythms, they are, for instance, biorhythms, etc., start to pace at the same time or similar times among all of them. Is it like the first week? Is never? Is at the end? When does this happen?
This is very interesting question, and I'm not saying this because I don't know the answer. Of course, I don't know. The thing is that we are calling this not synchronization, but adaptation. Okay. And each person is adapting differently to these new conditions. As you can see, they have different light conditions, different food. Fortunately, we don't have French people, so because our diet is with no sweets. So whenever we have French guys, it is a terrible, terrible stress. But here, we don't have anyone from France. So they somehow handle, but Irish guys, they prefer meat, and we are running on vegetarian diet. So anyway, always there is somebody adapting in different way. There are so many variables that you cannot clearly say about the synchronization. But what is very interesting, after 3 days, we see that the crew is already merging together and they try to adapt. Mm-hmm. They try to adapt. We see that they are better and better. And at the end, 7 days, they are already sad because the adaptation process ended and they can somehow survive even more. And they need to go out from the base.
Mm-hmm. Now, synchronization, we do it through, joint meal, some breathing activities. So there is really a place where we have many activities together, but also we could synchronize by doing artistic activities. So for instance, singing together with a good pace. So they have put me a guitar in the hand. So I think that I'm going to show you some music that we could play on the moon. Yesterday we had a comment from Celia. what about romantic romantic on the moon? So I'll start with this one from my childhood. But also, of course, we have our old-time songs where all of you can participate, and that is Fly Me to the Moon. Fly me to the moon, and let me play among the stars. Let me see it, bring it back on Jupiter, and in other words, another word. And voilà, that's it. We are traveled so far. We forgot the lyrics, but okay. You have also spontaneity. We have my God, I've never laughed so much in years with this team. So I think so that's also a lot of Wim Connect. Yes. So now, other question do we have?
Let me check the chat. So, I don't think so. I don't know if from Roxana we have any other question from your students, or if not. Yeah.
No, but I'd like to acknowledge that every time a crew is entering a moon base or an analog moon base, it's only the result of a lot of collaboration and work before they get there. So the support teams are very important too, and I would like to thank them, and especially tonight we are able to be live with 2 moon bases, not only thanks to the crews inside, but also thanks to the people that support them. So MCCs and support teams, remote support teams for both teams that are live with us tonight. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe we can conclude with one last topic. I would like to ask to the EMMPOL15 crew, what are your plans after this mission?
I think each of us have
How is
individual
this mission
I think some of us continue our personal experiments, some of us have gym time, some of us prepare dinner. It's everyone has different plans.
Well, yeah, I think there was a misunderstanding in the question. Yeah, I also wanted to ask you how this mission is fitting in your curriculum as students, or what are your next plans?
Yeah. When you're back from the moon.
Back from the moon, yeah.
Of course. So again, it is different for everybody. Some of us are still in their college degrees, completing them. Some of them are looking for like even jobs in the space sector now that this EMMPOL has given them an opportunity.
I would just mention that myself, Daniel, and Sean here, we are all members of the Eurospace Hub Academy, who generously helped finance our research here. So we are going to continue our academic careers, each in different fields. So medical physics, and both medical physics. My research is in international outer space law. So being here was a wonderful opportunity to research crew dynamics for future lunar law, possibly. Do you want to talk a bit more? We're a part of MoonMars and Eurospace Hub, so we're excited to keep building on that.
And I'm an electrical engineer, so there's plenty to do in space. So I'm sure I'll find something in that sector.
Now a question also.
And I work as a chemical and materials engineer in Space Technology Center in AGH University. So I'll just get back to my job, and this was just a really good experience to have this sort of overview on how astronauts might perform in outer space. So that was like a really good experience for me.
Great. So since you guys are all happy about being analog astronauts, we would like to invite you to join the next round of missions here at HISES, because Kato and Hank are organizing the next mission. So maybe you guys want to say something about the next round of mission.
So several missions will be organized. The first round will be in April, May. So you can all apply via the link mentioned on the MoonMars and Eurospace Hub profiles. And the missions will take 5 days. And there are 3 researchers and 3 explorers in each mission.
Yeah, so the issue for running HISES and any of these analogs is always where do we get the financing? And so I'm the how can I say financer of this, but I can't do everything that I want to do because there's a limit. So what we're doing in our situation is we are inviting explorers. Now, the definition of an explorer is somebody who doesn't mind to spend a lot of money to be able to have this experience. I went to Antarctica once, and we had a ship full of explorers who paid a lot of money. And then there were a whole bunch of scientists who were able to then ride along and perform a lot of serious science on that mission. They wouldn't have been able to have a ship to go all the way to Antarctica, if it was just funded by science. So by connecting the science and the explorer, then we should be able to improve the situation. We constantly want to make the experience better and better. Better communication, better visual, better food. We want to get to the point where we're actually recycling the water, which we don't do this today. All these kind of things to make it more and more realistic. All cost money, and we hope that explorers will help. I'm the explorer on this mission, by the way. So I paid a bunch of money to be able to join these scientists and I did a little bit of work too.
Yeah, and that's also one of the goals of the Eurospace Lab Academy is to train space researchers, space astronauts, and space entrepreneurs. Because also some of you may develop as well some business, some services, some jobs out of creating opportunities of analog research or space research or building instruments like Hana and Ines were mentioning. So we want to introduce you into the space ecosystem. And some of you are going to be a very successful entrepreneur. And then you can also then support a program for training the next generation. So that's a bit the philosophy for that.
Okay, so I see there is one last question. I see we are a bit running out of time, but I think we have time for one last question. So Mary is asking, what is the thing that we are missing the most as astronauts during the mission? From her. Maybe EMMPOL crew, you want to reply?
I personally miss hot sauce a lot. That was a priority for me. That was not on our vegan diet. I don't know. What do you think?
On this one, you should come to Hawaii. We just were contacted by a producer of hot sauce from Hawaii. And he came, and we are going to meet him again when we are going down back to us. So he could be a provider for some of our diets in the future, in particular if you come to ICES.
For me, anyway, I start to miss the simple things like the feeling of the wind on your skin. Like we have a lot of ventilators and heaters, but it's been 5 days since we've seen the sun or felt the rain or the wind. So after a while, you really start to miss, just say quiet little things like even the sounds of birds or that kind of thing.
By the way, we have a treadmill here as well, and my vision is to have a fan on the treadmill. So the faster you run, the faster the fan blows in your face. Because I agree, wind is in the face is one of the things that our past crews have all said, "Oh my God, it's so wonderful to have the wind in my face." Okay, let's simulate this.
Hank, this ventilator could be run by the speed of your legs. So more you are running, you have better ventilation.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay, so do you guys want to reply to the question?
I can reply.
Yeah.
So I'm probably the oldest one here, so my family is probably the biggest. I have 4 children and 8 grandchildren, and I really miss them when I'm on a mission. So that's, I think for those of us as we get older, we start to have families. And if we're going on a mission, we leave the families behind. And that is the hardest thing about the mission for me.
Mhm.
Well, for me, instead, I have to say that one hard thing is being free to arrange my day freely, because we set the schedule. Like when I'm at home, I work a lot. Maybe I do the same hours of working, but I love to be free to arrange my schedule. While here, everything is very well prepared the day before. So we need to work in team and to arrange our time according to common rules, let's say. So yes, I don't see any other questions. So
I just want to thank Serena, also Agatha, the EMMPOL team, Roxana, Juan Carlos and Ines, and all the participants to this first intercontinental moon basis show. I think we should do another one in the future, maybe for Kato, for all our ICs campaign. We have to see. But thanks very much for all the work you have put in, and for the technical side that worked well at the right moment.
We'll find out watching the recording on YouTube.
Yes, and please spread the news among all your friends and colleagues so that they can see the YouTube.
And my question is, where do we go from here?
Yeah. We go to the moon.
To the real one.
The real one.
So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Aloha.
Thank you very much. Aloha.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.